Nigel Farage's banking scandal has exposed scores of other high-profile names who have been debanked for thought crimes, including one of the chief architects of Brexit, Richard Tice. Now leader of Reform UK, which is surging in the polls, by the way, Richard has called for a legal right to own bank accounts after numerous financial institutions pulled the plug on his personal and business ventures over the past year. This was the moment today, and this was a big moment. Rishi Sunak told GB News' Liam Halligan that he supported Nigel Farage's crusade against the banks. And Richard, could you believe, even just a few weeks ago, completely unthinkable that the Prime Minister, a member of the Conservative Party that for so long, has had this hatred towards Farage, UKIP, Brexit, Sunak was there saying to Liam Halligan, it's right what Farage has done. It's right that he has capitulated, that Coots have capitulated, and it's right that there's going to be a discussion about what's happening with other customers. It was a phenomenal moment.
It was a moment, but I think actually the reason is because everybody's now woken up to the fact there aren't thousands, there aren't tens of thousands. I think there are hundreds of thousands of people who've had their bank accounts closed and cancelled. We've no idea how many small businesses have gone to the wall because of this. But also, you've got cabinet members like Grant Shapps now admitting that not only he, but his family members. And I've got information's come to me just this evening that actually someone that I know, who is essentially a relative of someone who's a politically exposed person, has been described as they're at risk, and therefore their file has been moved to the anti-money laundering officer for review and reflection. And you think, hang on, what is going on here?
It's a full-throttled attack on democracy. Have a little watch of what Sunak said, and we'll get you to respond more off the back.
I think it's good that Nigel Farage and Coots are in dialogue resolving the issue there. But Nigel Farage also spoke about the broader issue of this impacting other people. And that's my primary concern, because ultimately this isn't about any one individual. This is about values. Values that are important to me and important to our country. Values. Hang on, this is really important, rather than the individuals, to focus on the values that are at stake. Values of freedom of expression and privacy. I believe in those values very strongly. People need to be able to have lawfully held views that we might not agree with, but they shouldn't be denied financial services because of them.
But what's he going to do about it? We always hear warm, waffly words from Conservative Prime Ministers and Cabinet members. I want action, and I want it now. What he should do now is he should immediately suspend all of the PEP regulations. That deals with it. But look, they're not in the House of Commons. They're not sitting there in recess. Just have an immediate suspension on all of this stuff until they get back and pass some laws
to cancel it.
Because
how do you guarantee, though, that ordinary folk have a
So there's two aspects to it. One, you suspend all the PEP regulations immediately for all British citizens. And secondly, you say, actually, there should be a legal right to have a bank account with one or two of the main clearing banks. NatWest is the obvious one because we, the people, own almost 40% of it. So you have that legal right for you and for, as an individual, and for a business, and that is absolutely crystal clear. Again, that could be pushed through in September, the moment they get back, and you deal with this stuff. We used to have this legal right, which was through the post office. Many other countries in Europe have that legal right. Unbelievably, of course, it's actually this Conservative party, as I understand, that got rid of that legal right. What we want is action. I don't want waffle from Sunak. I want action, and I want it now.
What happened with you and Metro Bank?
So it's exactly 2 years ago that I got a letter from Metro Bank saying you've got 60 days to move your account. No
and was
reason
that
given.
For the Reform Party?
That was for the Reform Party. Obviously asked for a reason. They didn't give it. They just said it was a commercial decision. I held a press conference on it at the time. We couldn't get accounts elsewhere. I actually wrote to the Governor of the Bank of England and said, look, if we can't have a bank account elsewhere, democracy can't exist.
And what happened?
So the Governor promised me, bless him, that he would give me a substantive reply to my suggestion that they should have a sort of almost like a bank of last resort at the Bank of England for political parties. He said I'd get a substantive reply. 2 years later, I'm still waiting.
And did you lose your account with Metro?
So we did lose our Metro, yes, absolutely.
And did someone else take you on?
Luckily, and here's a lesson for everybody, folks. If you're listening, watching, always have a plan B. in anything. You need a plan B. We had a plan B. I obviously didn't tell anybody else.
Nigel had tried 9 banks.
Absolutely right.
Gina Miller had tried.
Gina Miller has been having troubles, and that's utterly appalling. And, you know, you've got to have a plan B, but we need a legal right. Whether you're an individual, a small business, a think tank, a political... You can't exist without this stuff. But I want action from this government. I don't want a review that's going to be kicked down the road for a year by civil servants that don't want this
enough
stuff.
Rhetoric, we need a plan.
Like so many things, we need action and we need it now.
Richard, just finally, where does this change things for your party politically? Because, of course, you used to be the Brexit party. Arguably, without your party, without Farage, there would never have been a Brexit delivered.
Correct, absolutely.
It was the Brexit party that forced out Theresa May and allowed Boris to...
Without us, Brexit would never have happened.
Now, this is obviously an issue that has captured the imagination of the British public, arguably the biggest victory against the establishment since Brexit. But are you planning to funnel it into a political cause? Is Nigel talking about coming back to frontline politics?
Let's be clear, this is, as Nigel quite rightly has said, this is actually non-political. This is on behalf of the people and of businesses and entities
that should unite left and right.
So it should unite all of us. It's a common cause that Nigel is brilliantly championing, and long may that continue. But look, we are always campaigning against the establishment that is still trying, basically, to ruin Brexit, to row back on whatever sort of, pretty feeble Brexit that we have got. And so we've got to keep campaigning against them. They're part of this global elite.
So will this be a campaign issue for you at the next election, debanking?
I think it'll be a campaign issue for everybody. I think actually there will be common purpose. And there's so many massive issues that we will be campaigning on. Obviously, the key one is stop the boats. We've got to take control of our lawful immigration. We want the only net zero this country should have is net zero immigration, and we should stop the boats. And hear me out. Finally,
of course.
We've had peak net zero. Yeah. It started last weekend. We're now allowed to talk about it because President Blair has said that actually whatever we do would make no difference to climate change whatsoever. The truth is coming out. We've got to ram it home. We've got to win this battle, and we will be on it hard.
You're the leader of the party, right? Are you nudging Nigel to say, "Come on, you're going to run at the next election"? Do you want that?
No, you know Nigel. No one nudges Nigel. Nigel, he's got so many things that he's focusing on. This is a huge cause he's taken on. But like all of us, he's utterly steaming mad about the failure to deliver a proper Brexit. And we're all very focused on it. Let's do Brexit and do it properly.
Richard Tice, leader of Reform UK. Thank you so much.